Well, hello, it's Andrew here yet again, and today we're on episode 187, and we're getting close to the end of Matthew. Today we're at Matthew 26, verses 16 to 19. So we pick up actually it's 17 to 19. Pick up the narrative at verse 17. On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus. Now, unleavened bread and Passover are kind of interchangeable, saying, "Where do you want us to make preparation for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. The day finally comes around. It always does in the end, doesn't it? A day that Jesus has been counting down to. Now, the disciples here are the ones who take the initiative. And I guess they've been starting to wonder as the days have been getting close to this big feast, where are we celebrating the Passover? And they may have been kind of asking among themselves, well, the Master hasn't said anything yet. So finally they ask him. This is a 7-day feast. Now this may explain why the upper room becomes the headquarters for at least the next week. So through the whole time of the trial, the death, the waiting, the resurrection, and the days that follow, they are based, it would seem, at the upper room. And here they are, asking at the top of the first day where it's going to be celebrated. Although Jesus may not be looking forward to it and all that it portends, he is nevertheless prepared. It seems that he has made arrangements, and all that is required of his disciples is that they follow his instructions, and voila, the place he has organised will be available for them all. I'm interested, and this is really more of an aside, that it seems to be the men that do the preparations. In a culture such as ours, where such work is often delegated to women, here we see that it's the disciples, presumably the 12, the leaders of the nascent Jesus movement, doing the domestic preparations. But you may object, there are only men with Jesus. Well, we know this is not true. There was a band of women that accompanied him. It seems that they may have been the primary funders for the Jesus project. But I digress. I just think it's interesting to notice that there's also a place for men doing the domestics. So Jesus sees the last pieces falling into place. There is a kind of unrelenting certainty in what is happening for Jesus. He has a date with destiny that cannot be denied. I get that. I remember when I was growing up, my dread of the dentist. If my next appointment, for example, was at 10 a.m. on Friday, I found it difficult to imagine or plan for what happened afterward. All I could see was up to 10 a.m. on Friday. Life stopped then. Well, for Jesus, it literally did stop. Yet it was the vision of what was to follow that kept him going. And surely he had such a vision. We read of it in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 12. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For the joy set before him. Yet, as we will see, the vision of that joy did get crowded somewhat out by the reality of the situation he faced. And he got through it all. Beyond it, beyond this awful in-between bit, was the expectation of having brought us with him into eternity. This was the price he has to pay, that he was to pay, in order to secure our freedom, our life, our joy, our fellowship with him and with each other. The price of a new world order, a kingdom of heaven kind of world order, where there is no first and last, where each find our own place in that order, a place that gives us satisfaction and joy unspeakable as we walk and work together with Jesus, with one another. Now, you're hearing me repeating this same kingdom of heaven kind of mantra. It's important that we see it as something that has implications for eternity. By the time you're viewing this episode, my 10 a.m. Friday moment will be a few days in the past. I will be in a new role with the Methodist Church. Because 10 a.m. Friday moves on to 11 a.m. and on to Saturday and on to Sunday and on to December and on to 2021, whether I want it to or not, whether I'm part of it or not. We are all in the on-flowing river of time. The disciples are oblivious. They have no idea what's going on for Jesus. They have no idea of what is about to happen in their own lives over the next 24 hours, and it's probably just as well. If they knew, who knows what they might have done. It's a mercy that we don't know our own futures. Many of us will be too scared to get out of bed in the morning. Yet what joy we would also miss as we looked only at the dark clouds, the black splotches, the gnarly and painful bits, and failed to notice the rays of sunlight, of joy, of satisfaction, of love and intimacy that are woven through it all. It's just as well we don't know. It's a grace that allows us to see and experience the other graces that we are given. It's my prayer that you today will notice the graces that come your way. Spend less time focusing on the dark, threatening, looming clouds that so often hang over life, and be able to notice and pick up and rejoice even in those small moments of gift, of joy, of love, of generosity, of warmth and of peace. God bless you.